The Whiskey Brothers podcast is intended for an adult listening audience. If you find yourself easily offended, I guarantee this will do it.
They don't want no problem. Nah.
From Houston, Texas, the Whiskey Brothers podcast starts now.
Welcome, everyone, to the Whiskey Brothers podcast. Hi, hello, how are you? Episode 976. I'm your Sherpa up this mountain. That's my favorite role. I'm Slade Ham. I do this every week along with Jerry Wayne Longmire. Usually next to me, Sam Damaris. Usually across from him, Trey Tudson. Neither in their regular seats. Trey, freshly back from Seattle, but doing some family stuff. Sam, out on a boat somewhere around Belize, I believe. He'll be back towards the end of the month. We're your Whiskey Brothers, though, and we have with us our guest, Kenji Alonzo. Kenji Alonzo, good to have you back on the show.
Thank you. Glad to
easy
be
to
here.
find him, the Kenjaman84 or at Kenji Alonzo. Kenji Alonzo?
I wish we could have found a Sam lookalike.
A taller version of him. What's Booker T doing this weekend? Pour up a shot. We're drinking from the Old Humble Distilling Company's Double Oak. It's available now. Joe Breda brought this over the other day. It's freshly out to the public now, and we are enjoying it. Joe, we're going to need some more, I'm afraid. Next to it, if you're buying Christmas gifts, holding up Jerry's phone, the bottle of Texas Ranger Peach Whiskey. We have a studio full of good stuff. So if you're buying gifts, we encourage you to pick them up. People in the chat talking about that. They're asking, is your name actually Kenjaman?
Yes, that is what's on my birth certificate, Kenjaman. But some people call me Kenji, but Kenjaman.
That's are you the only? I've met, to my knowledge, 2 Slades in my life. Like stumbled across. Have you met another Kenjaman?
So I haven't met another one, but like there was like a website where you could look up people in the country with your name, and there are 14
Facebook.
Other Kenjamans.
Wow.
I really
which are in
regret
Texas.
now not naming my son Ninjaman.
That's Ninjaman.
That would have been super cool.
It sounds like
when you
on
have
the
grandkids. Don't make daddy's mistake.
one letter. It's on the surface. It sounds like celebrity portmanteau. It sounds like they do like Benifer. It sounds like they jammed it together. That's why I think they.
Well, so the story behind my name is my mom wanted to name me Kenji. When she first heard the name, she heard it from this guitarist, Kenji Brown. Was in the group that did the soundtrack for the Car Wash movie back in the 70s. It's like a half black, half Japanese guy.
Almost started singing at the car wash.
Yeah.
Oh, don't let
No, let's
anything stop you.
Give us some background on it. But
It's Bootsy, baby.
that's what she wanted to call me. But apparently everybody in my family hated it. So she was like, how about Kenjaman? And I could just call him Kenji as a nickname. And they agreed to that.
Wait
a minute. They
anti-Kenji.
hated Kenji. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My brain went to say, what?
Yeah. We'll ask on behalf of everybody.
Oh, yeah.
That's what was Kenji too weird?
They just didn't like it. But plot twist, nobody in my family calls me Kenjaman. They call me Kenji, so I don't know what my dad was worried about.
Man, honestly, if my name was Kenjaman, I would insist. I would just be like, no, motherfucker, it's Kenjaman.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Mama can call me Kenji. Rest of you motherfuckers don't know this shit.
My grandmother, the fear of our older relatives, when my mom was being brought in to give birth to me, my grandmother sort of followed her down the hallway, and she was yelling. She goes, if you name him Slade, he'll turn out to be, as she phrased it, a merciless gunslinger. Was the way my grandmother envisioned the name Slade.
Well, that's
Well, she's
That's
from a different time.
That's, I
I don't think she was that far off the mark.
But it hurts more. Here's have you so there's only 4. This is interesting.
His gunfire's words,
Yeah.
but fuck.
We'll have to do this live on the air. Have you ever Urban Dictionary'd the name Kenjaman? There's only 14, and I know there's very few Slades. So I have and I am 100% certain that it has to be someone who I have wronged in the past. There's no way that these aren't personal.
Oh yeah, Urban
Have you
Dictionary,
Jerry Wayne?
Wayne. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
hang
not
on.
good.
I haven't,
No.
so I will do Kenjaman
Everybody,
right
you look
now.
up Kenjaman. I'll look up Slade, and you look up Jerry Wayne, and we
If I
will.
remember correctly, it was fairly unpleasant.
I don't know that there are too many pleasant Urban Dictionary definitions. right? Like how many people really go there and they're like, oh my God, they really did a good job at Urban Dictionary of putting something uplifting on the internet, right? So we're all gonna look ourselves up. I'm gonna go to you guys in the chat because I'm sure you've got Kenji's already laughing. Here we go.
All right, so I saw people doing this, and all their descriptions were.
How many descriptions? All right, so I'm looking right now. I have 1, 2, all right, 3 clearly. 3. We'll call it. All right, there's like 4 or 5 that all sound very not personal to me, but they sound like they were written about a specific person.
So there's 1 entry for Kenjamin and 2 for Kenjamin Greenbottom, whoever the fuck
Well,
that
hang
is.
on, Kenjamin Greenbottom. Maybe there's some things you don't know.
You're wearing
about
a lot of
yourself.
green, Kenjamin.
So this is the Urban Dictionary description for Kenjamin. Kill your parents. If they decided to name you Kenjamin, they cannot be trusted. This post was not made by a Kenjamin or a friend of a Kenjamin. If you or a loved one is named Kenjamin, call the Kenjamin helpline.
Stop and reach out to one of the other 13.
Yeah, basically.
That if you didn't write that in your own drunken, like, can't sleep at night sort of restful fit.
Oh, I did it. And somebody wrote that in 2020, October of 2020. So I'm wondering who I wronged that month.
No, that
To make
sounds
them
like
right.
that sounds like another Kenjamin who has had a much worse experience with his name.
Everybody has loved my name. You know what it is? I think this name is so good. Somebody was just hating on another Kenjamin. Was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this motherfucker."
Possible, man.
They're
That's
not big,
cool. Let me
too.
take a. That's like somebody disliking a good YouTube video.
Yeah.
I feel you. That's possible.
My name's Jerry Wayne Longmire Jr., and I looked up to see if anybody else had my name.
Completely like.
I'm glad Adam got that.
Oh, Junior. Shit, damn it. I wasn't listening.
was the only one.
I was letting Kenji field it while I
Look, I'm
scratched
still
my
on
head.
the uptake. I was just told to kill my parents. I'm a little distracted.
You son of a bitch. That was funny.
Adam, right on the bat.
Thank you for the tip off. Yeah, but Slade, you missed something. Nothing. Were there? What did you?
Mine's actually stupid. I thought I'd looked it up one time and it was terrible, but it's all nice shit. So,
well.
a sweet yet vicious man. I'll take that.
To a sweet yet vicious man. Well,
yet
That's fair.
to Urban
Says a
Dictionary.
smooth talker.
And Jerry, your special came out recently. Let's talk about it. It is available on YouTube. It is spectacular because I know I was there for a lot of it. You can watch the whole thing in its entirety. It's called The Wrecking Yard. Now, you posted after the fact, and I don't have any idea how you've marketed or posted about this, but Reddit. Did you just post the special in its entirety and then take feedback? Because
what
that's insane.
Who
does that?
Yeah.
You fucking masochist.
I've been on Reddit for a while, and I used to do a lot of the stand-up shots. That's where you use a picture of yourself on stage.
Did you ever
put
get
one
any
of your
traction
jokes
out
on
of
it.
that?
Very, very good. And I've had quite a few people come up to shows and stuff.
Okay.
And then so I was like, hell with it. I went into the stand-up comedy group and I posted a clip, and there's a joke I do on there about my mother, about my mother's death, and there's a lot of build up to the punchline and everything, and I posted that on there just because I was using that video as a marketing tool, and then I got another video where I talk about my daughter becoming non-binary and my reaction to that and all that sort of thing, and so I've been using those videos sort of market it, and this guy on Reddit come in and was like, man, that's a 3-minute wait to get to a punchline that doesn't feel worth it. I hope this is late in this special. And I was like, most comics are insecure, neurotic, nightmare artists. And so I sat around all day plotting his death and deciding how I was going to tell him he was wrong. And I wanted to, because I am one of those people that I hate this lavish devotion to the laughs per minute model.
So how did you wrote the bit? I was there when you were working on the bit. We talked about 1,000 different ways to get into the bit.
Yeah.
The bit was written
to be that way. It's
to be a dip before a bang.
Yeah, I wrote that bit. The bit was my litmus
Does the laugh
test.
go exactly where you want the laugh to go?
Every time.
Does it get quiet exactly where you want it to get quiet?
Most of the time.
Fuck this Reddit.
Yeah.
Right in his face.
Every
Put
once in
him-
a while, there's a laugh in the first part where I'm talking about my mom dying, and somebody laughs, and it's always weird.
Well,
it's
no,
like,
that's not weird.
It's a relief thing. It's
you got the same laugh, if I'm not mistaken, in the special when you go, my daughter's non-binary, and it gets a laugh, and it's because you do such a good job. Let's get into all that, but you do a good job of setting up, building tension, and breaking it. And if you do that right in the right places, people will laugh where they think it's out of anticipation.
Yeah.
So this adherence to laughs per minute, I don't care about the actual math. Are you funny? That at the end of the day, did you entertain the audience and make them laugh? And that's the only metric by which you can judge stand-up comedy.
I understand. Look, if you're going to do a 3-minute audition, let's talk about your laughs per minute. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't do that bit in a 3-minute audition. You know what I mean?
It's laughs per minute has a place.
That's a gamble. If you do that bit in a 3, you'll be lucky if you get to finish the audition. They don't cut you off. Ask Alonzo Bowden.
You rip you apart a little bit?
Fuck
2003,
yeah. You gave me my payback, so it was nice. Slade let me feature for him the week after at his club in Beaumont, which didn't go as great for him. I was in front. I pulled every hillbilly trick out of the book.
Yeah. You were in Beaumont. They weren't tricks.
You guys
They felt like it. The way those.
It's a hillbilly book.
They were neither tricks nor books.
Those people reacted like I was a magician.
Yeah, that was so the.
But I've had that argument a lot, and I come from. You and mine's good friend, and a lot of people know him. A guy named Tom Hester was one of my mentors early on in comedy, and Tom I learned from him. Tom is a roller coaster. When you watch Tom on stage, you go up and down and up and down and up and down, and then there'll be a big dip and a big up in it, and it's never. And I grew up with Pentecostal preachers, which is the same thing. You change your voice. You raise your voice octaves and lower your voice, and you bring the crowd up and down. That's how you keep them tied in, giving you the money. And so it's my style. It became that's my style. That's what I do. Even in a 5-minute mic, there's some ups and downs, And I always feel comfortable doing that. Tom Hester used to call it my pregnant pause. Because JW has a really pregnant pause, like 9 months. He's like, but you work it every time. And so I stuck with it because he was giving me encouragement, and I enjoyed the way it works on crowds. But I've had more than a handful of people, aren't you worried about laughs per minute? And like, no. When I'm doing a set at the comedy club or at a live show, I do not give 2 shits about laughs per minute. I want to control that crowd and work them the way I need to work them to get the response I want out of them. And I'm very skilled at that. I do a good job of it. I understand.
I've never really counted unless we were like, hey, let's see how many laughs for like an actual project or something where we were like trying to do. I've never. It's not a metric I pay attention to when I'm writing or performing. It either feels right or it doesn't. They were either laughing or they weren't. I was killing or I wasn't.
I've always been told for like TV stuff, you want to average 6 to 7 laughs per minute.
It's fair.
Which, if you're not doing one-liners, you better. I mean, that's a really punched up story.
But no, it's not if you think about it, because it's
But is it
average.
an average? So if I get 30 laughs this minute, and
and also if they're laughing longer, that's
you can do a minute setup and then punch tag and get 6 punches, and then it's very easy to offset it that way. But it's I think how you build it, right? It's if you're we get into the craft of all this shit, but the longer you go without a laugh, the bigger the laugh coming out of it has to be. Right. And it's just simple math, and it's
a ratio.
That triangulation doesn't.
It's the hot girl crazy ratio.
Yes,
it's the same.
Yes, there's a chart.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I also think that laughs per minute is like one of those fundamentals of comedy. But once you understand comedy, you're not, stuck to it.
Right.
The purpose of laughs per minute is to build trust with the audience.
Yeah.
But something I don't think people consider as much is you're not just building trust with the audience in front of you. You're building trust with every audience over your career. That's why Dave Chappelle can go and do a set, and his first joke, he can take a longer time to get to the punchline.
He's built that trust.
Because people are paying hundreds. They know he's Dave Chappelle.
It's a 30-year long set.
He's already built the trust. He can wait a little bit longer.
That's
what
a big
is it
deal.
that Billy D. Washington always says about
If you can't be funny, be interesting.
Yeah, if you can't be funny, be interesting.
But what you're saying is very important. I think that we always have it in our head, like, because at a certain level, you don't have a cumulative fan base. You have the fan base that saw me at Hyenas tonight.
Yeah.
So and probably will never see me again.
Right.
But over the course of, which means I have to be funny from jump.
Exactly.
If I walk in and you're all there to see Slade, right? Like the improv show or whatever, during the quarantine, it was all fans. It was all my people. I had so much latitude, and that's kind of my thing with celebrity acts in general, where it's like, you guys really killing, or are you just y'all killing?
Well, that was Jerry Seinfeld come out and was like, I'm going to show you how easy it is to write a new 45 minutes. Like, where do you go to work out 45 minutes, Jerry?
Right, well, we talk about like Chris Rock does, where he sits on the stool and he just talks, he just does the words.
He reads from his phone.
To make sure the words work. But the truth of it is, like, but
there are still
get
at
a
least
pass.
600 people that'll go see Chris Rock and laugh at the words he's reading off his phone.
Just to be in the room.
It's
while
still
he's doing
not
it.
a fair test.
I don't know
think.
that you can get a fair
don't
test
think
at that
you
point.
can.
It's like trying to get you have to go for a change of venue. You have to go like play for Russell Peters' audience in India or something.
Ron White, he said he told everybody he retired during the pandemic, and then he went and did the ayahuasca retreat and quit drinking at the time, whatever, and did a bunch of whatever ayahuasca is.
Right.
And he came back and he loaded up his RV and he started just driving around Florida and Louisiana and just popping into rooms last minute and working out bits and stuff. And now he's
Back at it?
He's got a new hour out that he's beating up.
Side note: ayahuasca is kind of like
peyote.
Yeah, like a natural DMT, and DMT is the chemical.
I know
that
what
floods your
DMT
brain.
is. Yeah.
So that's what they do.
How can it be illegal if your brain makes it? I get you.
Yeah,
I'm
wow.
with you, brother.
Well,
In America, they don't like free drugs up here. Yeah, but I think going back to what you're saying about how can you get a fair test of Chris Rock or those people, and you can't really, because they've built that trust, because they had the laughs per minute at the beginning.
Yeah, I think Chris Rock could read Dr. Seuss and get a standing
but you're coming into it with like FedEx cup points, like a
yeah. Because his perspective, how he it's almost like he's built this matrix in your brain where how he thinks, and you can see he's incepted the comedy.
I'll make you again the best sneeches on the beaches, and all it cost you is $10 each.
Green eggs and ham. Good Lord.
I could not in a box. I could not with a fox. Let me say that again. I could not. Okay, we're gonna do more of that. I guess there is a point to that. What do we know? We're just dudes trying to make jokes work in front of
Is it
strangers.
illegal to suck frogs? Well, I believe in Texas probably.
It is illegal to
lick frogs, not.
He said suck frogs.
Well, hey, what a man does with a frog at a pond,
right?
I don't know where the gross bar is from.
September is his business.
He might
in
be
a small
from Louisiana.
suburb outside of Pittsburgh. But we're just making stuff up, aren't we?
I just saw it illegal to suck frogs, and I no longer cared about laughs per minute.
Yeah,
I want to know if you've done ayahuasca. You talked about that pretty goddamn confidently
I have
a
not.
while ago.
I wanted to.
Yeah,
Because
me
I've
too.
also
I
heard
do
it
too.
resets your brain.
Yeah,
like it can help really get rid of depression and anxiety. But I want to find a safe way to do it. I don't want to get some crack.
Yes.
You want to go on a guided trip.
Yeah.
I really want to do peyote really bad. But I have some anxiety about it because I've also read all that stuff about how it resets your brain, gets rid of the ego, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm not gonna be able to be a comic anymore if I ain't got some kind of ego or something,
Man, one of these days, I'm gonna get comfortable having these conversations on air.
Sorry, man. I'm not
No,
trying to rat you
no.
out.
I say it in the sense of it's a.
I'm deeply interested in all that, though. I have instructed my wife that if I get sick and I'm on my deathbed, and she knows my last request is I want a courageous bag of fucking mushrooms, and I want to meet the Lord feeling like I'm on its level. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be scared when I die. I want to just float off in beautiful colors and talk to everybody on my way out, whether anybody's there or not. You know what I mean? I know how I feel on mushrooms, and it's pretty wonderful. It's one of my favorite things, you know?
Yeah.
It's the only time I've ever laughed until my face hurt.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like literally my face hurt for 4 days. Like I pulled muscles in my faces from laughing.
I don't.
My faces, you can tell I was on mushrooms.
Your faces.
That's some good ass shrooms.
I'm always I'm hesitant to talk about because I think they can be done so irresponsibly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'm always hesitant. I don't want to be the guy who encouraged somebody. Oh man, Slade said they were great, and then he goes out and he grabs a bag of mushrooms and he sits and he stares at himself in the mirror for fucking 30 minutes and has to deal with all that. I don't want to be responsible for that. That said, man, I've stared at that dude and had some good times.
Yeah,
I don't do them. They're not a party thing for me.
No.
They're very introspective.
Right. I take them by myself.
They're 100%
or maybe
a
with
solo
one
endeavor.
person close to me. I don't. And I know some people who like to do them at parties, and like if that's your thing, that's your thing. But I'm very introspective. I like to take them and just feel the love of the universe.
I'm very much like you two in it. I used to have
It never made me like you two.
When I lived in Oak Forest. But they are. Listen to one. Anyways, when I lived in Oak Forest, my
Bullet the Blue Sky and most of Joshua Tree.
Yeah,
I can absolutely get down with.
When I lived in Oak Forest, me and my 3 best friends on Friday night would do something we called the Committee of Tree Fitty. And it's where we would get together and wear silly hats and play poker and get drunk, right? Okay. It was a good time, and it was just something we did
How
Friday
many
nights. There's
2.
4 total.
Right.
4 total. But one night, my best friend shows up with this bag of mushrooms. And I was like, well, fuck, poker it'll make me smarter. Let's do this. Mushrooms do not help poker at all, man. They're not beneficial. They're not beneficial to lying and bluffing at
Neither
all.
are surprise faces in your hand.
We might as well have been playing Go Fish. I was like, I got 3 kings and an ace. Can I do anything with that? No? Well, then I'm not going to put any money in. Let's go to the next round. Can I keep my cards? No? Okay.
That's funny. That's a have you ever So what's I would talk dosage. What did you call it? A courageous dose?
That's a whole bunch.
A courageous bag of mushrooms.
Yeah.
A
Well, I
whole
was playing
bunch?
off the Bill Hicks. Courageous dose. Because I tried that one time. You know, I went out into San Marcos and found a pasture with some friends and got.
Mm-hmm.
And then the cops showed up, informed us we were on private land, and I had to drive, followed
Was
us
it-
to a campsite, and let us go.
Terrence McKenna, heroic dose.
Heroic.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's it.
The
No, because Bill Hicks says
He said
I
courageous.
took what could only be described as a courageous dose of
Okay.
mushrooms. And they talk
McKenna
about the
said
car talking
heroic.
to him. The
That's
door's
right.
ajar.
That's
How
right.
can the door be ajar if it's a door?
If
Yeah. Like
and then have you had like hallucinations to the point where you saw stuff that you knew wasn't coming from inside of you?
I talked to somebody one night, and this really wasn't that strong a dose, but they were some really good quality gold hoods out of Austin. And I took those and had a very specific time by myself. And I talked to somebody who had been gone from my life and gone from the earth for a number of hours and had deep introspective conversations with them that opened the doors for the way I felt about things and the way that I felt that they felt about things, and
No shit.
really fixed some shit in my brain one time. And so that's why I'm that is a very pivotal moment for
And you're
me.
afraid of this reset in your brain.
Yeah, well, I don't want to
I have
reset
not
too much.
taken
I got a little
enough.
asshole in me that works on stage. I don't want to.
I think it's a weird fear that disappears.
Yeah. Is it a weird fear? though?
yes, because
It's understandable.
But I've never done anything stronger than that, like peyote, ayahuasca,
let me
or
rephrase that.
DMT.
It's not a weird thing to be afraid of. It's an incorrect fear.
Okay,
It's
I
the
got
only
you.
way I know how to say it. It's
It's almost like you're kind of like afraid of losing a part of yourself.
Yeah. The part that I don't always like, but it's necessary.
Don't worry, the trauma will still be there. It just won't affect you as much.
But
that trauma's never going away, baby.
I've thought about that stuff. I was molested as a kid, and I would like to go back in and approach, like, really go through those memories while I do something like that and see if I can't fix some shit, or whatever.
There's a lot of that. The reason I'm so interested. There's a lot of research being done on MDMA and psilocybin both, and the way they're doing therapy on them, and people being able to discuss trauma while detached from the emotional context of the trauma. And that's the coolest part to me about what happens on psychedelics is the fact that there is just that ability to be able to explore something you went through without all of the rush of that was horrible, tragic, embarrassing, whatever. It's a really cool thing to do. And whether you're doing it, that's what the recommendation, if you were ever going to do something like ayahuasca or whatever, you'd certainly want to do that with someone who understands the on-ramp and the sensations you're experiencing and the panic that can show up and how to right a trip that goes sideways at, like, you can't just tell everybody, have your favorite song on your, you know what I mean?
I'm not doing peyote unless I get real Indian. That's not correct. Native American. Sorry.
That's and that's the
real indigenous shaman.
That's the other thing about peyote is that it's the scarcity of it now is it's almost not even enough available for actual Native American tribes to use it in ceremonial use. So for me, peyote, I don't even have an interest in it just because of the fact that I know I'm probably
I didn't know that.
I
didn't know that.
It's worth looking into. But there's a lot
I was reading about Stephen King riding around on his motorcycle, popping peyote buttons and going home and writing the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah,
totally. There's
minus a motorbike. That seems like a bad judgment.
I realized talking to you two that I have not taken enough mushrooms. Like, so when I started taking mushrooms, I figured I'd start in a low dose and like ramp myself up. So I've done it maybe like 3 or 4 times, always taking maybe a little bit more. I think the most I've ever taken was probably somewhere to 2.5, 3 grams.
Oh,
well, you're probably on the right. You're
exactly
on the
where you
right
should be.
thing.
Yeah,
We're just older than you, and we've had more time to experiment.
Well, and I've also done some things by mistake. I don't think I ever even told this on the podcast. This was a while back. I was.
Did you hit yourself too hard?
I was given
Why are you hitting yourself?
what I
Slade?
thought was a dose. I hadn't taken them in a while at this point. So 3 grams of mushrooms is about a dose, and I had not taken them for a while at this point. So I thought I remembered what that looked like.
You tried to eyeball 3 grams.
I literally tried to eyeball them, and I went, "That's about right."
You're American. You don't know metric.
It was
That looks like 3 grams or 3 miles. I don't know. Fuck it.
just shy of 7. I think. I still don't have exact measure. The way my body responded, usually. It's a little tingly. Wow, this is about to be fun.
Things start
and then
moving.
everything gets a little high contrast. And,
Yeah.
look cool. Carpet fibers dancing.
Green looks amazing.
I know where we're at, baby.
I describe it as sparkly.
Time
It
to
gives
find-
me sparkle.
There you go. It's just put the good playlist on and let's enjoy ourselves for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
And that's where I thought we were headed. There were fun memories of back in the day, and then with about 25 minutes to 30 minutes. Quickly and suddenly, I remember I was sitting on my couch, and the TV was off, and it kind of did one of these. It went, hey, and I went, what was that? And then the whole wall bowed down, and the house folded up into a little black box with me in it, and I didn't come back for about 3 hours, maybe 2. I don't know. Could have been 15 minutes. Not really sure. I know music was skipping on Spotify. It was I was hearing audible skips on shit that I knew was absolutely crystal clear. So I'd have to shut it off at one point. and I had scrawled. I have it in an old notebook. This is a short circuit, like Roatan, or what was the
Croatan.
Croatan? Yeah, like I carved it in the side of a tree.
If he'd have gone missing, we'd all been walking around looking for little circuits.
It was, and then I zipped back in, and I was like, okay, well, we know where the wall is.
7.
I hit it a little too hard one night. I was by myself in my apartment. I had this little apartment off Fondren, Richmond area, and it was kind of the hood, back off Richmond, and it was a scary place about half the time. There was a lot of sounds outside. You never knew what was going on. I'd been mugged in the parking lot. It was a rough joint, and I had this great neighbor that lived right across the porch from me, and his name was Wayne. And he was a big old black dude that was the biggest redneck you ever met in your life. Big belt buckle, the boots, everything. The night I got mugged, he jumped over the hood of my car like Bo Duke and started whipping the dude's ass. He's a great guy, Yeah. And I got a little. I took a little too much one night. I don't know how many. I just started chewing up the bag and started eating. And I put on Beach Boys' Pet Sounds. And because I wanted to get inside Brian Wilson's head, and I'd been reading all this shit about Brian Wilson, and I wanted to hear the didgeridoos, and I wanted to just have this, and I did. It was wonderful. I felt like I recorded the goddamn album with him. But at some point, my door starts quaking and shaking like it's coming off the hinges. And I very timidly go to the door and open the door, and there's Wayne. He's like, "Say, dog, can you shut down the motherfucking Beach Boys? They've been going all goddamn night, man. And me and my lady, we're done fucking. We're trying to sleep." "Yes, sir, Mr. Wayne. That's my bad. Man, what'd you take, dog?" "A bunch of mushrooms." "Oh, cool. Well, you'll be all right tomorrow."
Beach Boys. Brian Wilson.
Hilarious.
Me and my lady are done fucking. We gotta go to sleep.
You made them fuck to the Beach Boys.
That's
I always think that way. And his old lady, we're getting it on to man. Like
Pet Sounds.
Pet Sounds is a weird fucking album.
That's what was the Pink Floyd something small creatures in a cave, whatever. It's nothing but weird click 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 sounds from the 60s and 70s.
Oh yeah. I mean, Pet Sounds is a great album. It's an incredible album. It's but
is it? I know less about the Beach
I'm a
Boys
Brian Wilson
than
fanatic,
I know about
though.
the Beatles, and I know nothing about the Beatles other than there used to be a fifth one.
Wow, really? Oh man, you should explore that catalog.
Hey Jude, I absolutely love.
Yeah, that's where Steven Tyler and everybody else learned how to scream.
So outside of Hey Jude,
Time Machine.
man, there's like one other song. Something. What album was that on? Do you know?
Hey Jude, I do not know.
Okay, so whatever.
Rachel could tell you. Rachel,
somewhere in that era.
I never cared about the Beatles.
They're
Rachel
awful.
may be a fan of them.
Horrible.
I fell in love with Hard Day's Night. I like almost
people are gotta be getting
everything
pissed.
that
Yeah.
George Harrison wrote. Here
am
Comes the
not a
Sun,
fan.
Black, all that stuff. I love
Might
that.
be a generational
But
thing,
you
though.
brought up Pink
Right.
Floyd, and one of my most unpopular opinions, besides the Great Lebowski, is I hate Pink Floyd too.
How'd you get a seat here? How did this even happen? How did we not? Did we not vet?
I mean, I don't know if I hate. I
Was
just
there
don't
no-
like
It's her,
Pink
Jerry.
Floyd.
No, we didn't even have a question.
I have a reason though. Okay, I had a friend when I was about 17, 18 years old. My parents took my keys away to my vehicle, and I had to start riding with my friend every day
the
to
street
school and
racing.
everywhere we were going. Yes, it was exactly what the fuck that was. And my dad's the one taught me how to do it. But
Hypocrite.
that's exactly what the fuck it was about. And so I had to ride with my buddy Steve everywhere, and Steve was going through a Pink Floyd phase. And I have heard every
There
Pink
is no
Floyd
Pink
song.
Floyd phase. There are fans and there are you.
Okay.
There are
well,
no phases.
I'll stay me. Blame it on Steve Vargas.
Don't know if I've ever heard a Pink Floyd song.
Okay, ignorance is a totally cool excuse. I can fix you. This is broken.
People haven't heard it. No qualms.
Y'all
People
really
already
doesn't
don't
like
it.
the Beatles,
Mortal
right?
enemies.
It's stoner rock. You know the wall. We don't need no education. We don't need.
Yeah,
That's Pink Floyd.
okay.
It's British 70. Anyway.
No, the gross bar of Pink Floyd would not be a good trip for me. It would be a bad trip.
Dark Side
It
of
would
the
be
Moon.
me yelling about the music the whole trip.
All right, that's fair. It's not for everybody.
I think I want to.
Dark Side of the Moon. Put Dark Side of the Moon on and lay on your couch and take your 3 grams and then come back. To
No, I think I want to take 4 grams and then put on Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt and see if I can open up a portal to my childhood.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
like so me and my
Jesus, who was fucking to Jay-Z while you were growing up?
Well, no. Here's the thing. We like
Everybody. I don't
think
know if
I
it was
know.
while he was growing
Were
up.
you in a hotel room too while it was happening?
The other side of yours. So he went over and had that conversation next. Look, we're done fucking, and we like
Turn off the
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Could you turn it off?
no, like me and my brothers, we would put on Jay-Z and play Teenage Mutant Ninja
We got to go
Turtles.
upstairs next. There's a Ray Stevens fan. We
First
got
of
to
all, if I'm
talk.
playing Jay-Z, you going second round. You ain't
Right there.
Beach Boys is 1 round fuck, and you're like, all right, I'm done. Let's get the cleanup towel and go to sleep. If I'm putting on Jay-Z, you fucking until that entire
Round,
album is
get
done.
a oops.
You about to get a mulligan on some early cum is what's gonna happen. Like, let me get
It's
a
literally round, get a towel. This is
We here for a while. We enjoying the moment.
I've been discussing with Trey recently because I was never a Kanye fan, but I love a lot of hip hop, and so recently I was like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna really give Kanye a listen, and so I downloaded. Trey schooled me on some songs to listen to, and then I downloaded a whole mess of it and started going through it. Found out I am actually a fucking Kanye fan.
He is
In fact, Kanye was so good that he made me like Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like
Kanye
for
says a
little
lot
bit.
of crazy
I
shit.
don't
but
think he's as crazy as everybody makes him out to be.
He's
I
not-
think it's calculated.
Well,
I think he's very sharp.
No, I think he's a little crazy. But here I was on a I was
sharp
having
and crazy like a fox.
I was having another discussion about Kanye, and I was like, here's the thing about Kanye. All right.
he saw my face. He saw my
I said
face.
crazy like a fox.
And I went,
Here's the thing, like the base level of Kanye's thought, I agree with. Like I could tell that when he's about to say something, I agree with where
right
it's
up
coming.
until the moment he says it.
Right, exactly.
It's how he
like
delivers
what he's thinking in his brain. I agree with it, but it goes through a mutation and it comes out his mouth in a way like you are missing a lot of context, and I don't agree with what you're
Yes.
saying, but I do agree with the original thought. I understand it and I
Yes.
believe it, but its mutation has come into something that makes you out of whack, and I don't agree with
I will
it.
never forget him doing was it after Katrina?
George
with
Bush
Mike
doesn't care,
Myers.
right?
George Bush doesn't care about white people. And Mike
Black
Myers,
people.
Austin Powers is just standing there like,
I mean, without that was actually true. Like that.
that was the funniest shit though. Watching Mike
That
Myers.
was it.
Mike Myers was the best part of that. Just,
Like, what the fuck do I do with this? I mean, we all know it, but nobody says it out loud. All right, and say what you want about Kanye, but he actually got a sitting president to then come out and say, I care about black people. Like George Bush had to
has a
respond like a
remarkable
battle
ability.
rapper. Like, oh shit, you think I don't care about I care. I care about all y'all.
show y'all how much I care.
All right, I'm going to say it, but I'm going to say it one time.
Drop that beat, Dick Cheney.
Well, I'm only saying it because Kanye.
He said it. He said
He
it.
called me out.
That's the only reason.
You know how I feel about y'all? All
And
right.
it rhymes. It's like,
Dick Cheney, play me a beat with your robot heart, quick.
click, click. But, all right, so,
Look,
I always
Kanye
wondered
wa-
if Dick Cheney's robot heart could beatbox.
maybe the third one he got when he got that
I'm sure
upgrade.
it has rhythm.
Pretty sure he was ripping them out of children at one point. Like, give me a young one.
I need this one for a minute.
I'll tell you this: Kanye always has a special place in my heart because, like, right as he was blowing up, I was in college, and we would always put on like a concert at the end of every year, which I thought was a scam. I'll tell you why in a second.
Because y'all ain't getting cuts of those tickets.
No, because they put on a huge concert right before finals. Like we're talking about like there was like 30,000. I went to school with like 45,000 people. There were like 20,000 people at this concert, and it was like 3 different concerts. It was like a weekend, and like all through the weekend, and then Monday you have finals.
Finals
Like,
are
like,
like-
they want
trying-
you to fail, so you're here for another.
They're
semester.
they're trying to get next year's enrollment money.
Half
Yeah.
price if you sign up tonight.
Man,
But
we
it
should
was like,
start a college.
I'm in.
Oh, absolutely. It was right after he dropped College Dropout, so it was like right before like that. It was right before he blew up, so my school could afford him. and his like ego wasn't out of whack, but it dropped everybody. I knew every song on that album, and I went to go see Kanye.
Oh, wow.
The beginning of his career for no money. Well, I won't say for no money because I paid
Yeah,
fucking
you spent
tuition.
a lot of money to go to college.
I spent
You paid
$12,000
You
on a
paid.
Kanye ticket.
You paid with your time and your soul.
Yeah, that's me enjoying my free drink at the casino.
Yeah, but it was an amazing experience. Kanye put on a great performance.
Oh, he's a hell of a performer.
I knew every song on that album, and it was his first album, and I loved it.
That's better than the Beatles.
Who's it? So like what? Another brick in the wall. Fuck off of that. 2 goldfish in a fishbowl.
I am not a Beatles fan.
Can be.
And I've heard
That'll
them.
fucking match. Here comes the sun. That's a little darling. No.
So, all right. We gotta. I think I don't know where we are. This has been a night. I think we're probably
Good combo.
It was fun though.
It feels
we
like
got
it does.
somewhere. Where did we get?
Well, we've covered a lot. We started on Urban Dictionary. We went through your special. We've turned into a lot of craft comedy talk, peyote, shrooms. We went into Kanye and the Beatles.
Ayahuasca.
A lot of territory covered. Kenji, you might have to come back.
Oh,
There's plenty
absolutely.
to talk about with you, and clearly,
I want to
seats
pick your
because
brain some more. You're fun.
People keep abandoning
And you
us.
don't yell at me and call me fat.
And you drink whiskey. And you're like Trey, but taller and nicer.
That is what I'm going for.
You're
As
kind, but not nice. It's so nice.
I'm trying.
Trey's nice, but not kind. It's so weird.
Look, I'm gonna let you know this. Like, there's gonna be a trade-off. I'm gonna be nicer and kinder, less funny. But that's what's gonna happen. Trey's gonna I'm gonna take his spots.
That's
but
fixable. No, Kenji Alonzo, our guest. Follow him at the Kenjamin84 on Instagram or Kenji Alonzo on everything else. All of us followable individually. We have some cool things happening. Friday night, that is today if you're listening to this episode. You can join us at the Deluxe Theater. Tickets are on sale now. The links are on our Facebook pages, all individually. You can just search Just the Bit on Facebook. It'll take you right to the event page. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. You can get in. You can see Jerry Wayne hosting the show. I'm doing stand-up along with Chingo Bling. And, dude, it's going to be remarkable.
I'm excited. I really like Chingo. I met him during the 24-hour podcast, and I ended up really loving the guy.
He's a good dude. We're showing the premiere of Just the Bit. Adam Taylor, our director and friend and runner of all the buttons.
And owner of fancy
when we
shirts.
do this, and a fancy shirt haver. I feel like we underdressed today. I feel more underdressed than everybody. But
I came in and felt like, God, who's this motherfucker trying to
I'm
impress?
telling you, and he's buttoned up, and we're all buttoned up. You guys in the chat, we appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Simple to find us on all things social media at Praise Whiskey. Come see the Christmas show December 17th. We're gonna get out of here. Peace.
They don't want no problem. Nah.
Music provided by Scarface. Thank you for listening to yet another excellent episode of the Whiskey Brothers Podcast, the world's funniest podcast ever. The Whiskey Brothers Podcast was made in America by Americans, mostly in and around the Houston area. All content copyright the Whiskey Brothers. This concludes our broadcast day. Goodbye.